One of the harder decisions I had to make was whether or not I wanted to pursue my professional football career to ultimately make it into the NFL, or if I wanted to continue law school. I want to make sure that I'm the person that if someone walks into my door, into my office, they know that they're going to get taken care of.
Exploding during COVID and creating 10,000 posts over TikTok and different mediums and millions of things.
When you have a decent amount of followers, you're able to get a lot of money.
Outside of getting referrals for what you do as a lawyer, which I think is the highest ROI ever, how are you getting paid through social media when you say it's lucrative? Welcome to this episode of Bourbon of Proof, where we interview those who have been both successful at law and life, and today we're extremely honored to have the Adam Juratovac, otherwise known as Attorney Adam on TikTok and social medias. And one thing that we're going to learn a lot about Adam today, he's probably one of the most interesting.
Can I interrupt that one? It's Adam J. the Lawyer.
Adam J. the Lawyer?
Adam J. the Lawyer.
Whatever.
Okay.
What are you on TikTok? Adam J.
Adam J. the Lawyer.
Adam J. the Lawyer?
Yeah.
All right. But one thing people see you as a social media personality sometimes. That's how people came to know you. But we're going to talk a lot about Adam's life. And what they don't know is not only was he a really good lawyer, a child lawyer, advocating for people that are, fighting for disability and fighting for employment issues. Played arena football with the Sabres.
Played 2 years. Played 1 year with the Spokane Shock and then 1 year with the San Jose SaberCats.
Played college football. Coached high school football. Started his own firm. Got overwhelmed. Went back in-house. And then went and started your own firm again. Is crushing it.
Round two. And more important than anything, Adam is a huge, huge family man. That's what he puts first and foremost. So we're going to go across the globe here. So I'm going to start with family for you, okay? So the first one that I actually selected for your first pour, this is Garrison Brothers. It's local here in Texas, so we're filming on location here in Austin at Clio Con. Adam and I met for the first time at ClioCon last year. We ended up riding a bull. We will find that footage. I actually paid the guy that was doing the bull riding to tone it down for me so I lasted a little bit longer, but I was hurt for like a week after that. Well, anyway, so I picked the Garrison Brothers for you because there are actually two brothers that run Garrison Brothers. And you and your brother Adam and Aaron are very close, and your brother Aaron and your buddy Tom, you guys trade whiskey and talk a lot about these things. So we're going to start with a pour for Adam and Aaron. So I'm going to start with some Garrison Brothers for you, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, local here in
How's
Texas.
it smell?
Also. Smells good. All right, Adam. Cheers, brother.
Cheers. Thanks for having me on the show.
I love Garrison Brothers. So let's talk about, grew up in San Jose.
Grew up in Palo Alto, California, right over in the San Francisco Bay Area. And, just grew up a normal little life. It was my brother and my parents hanging out over in west side Palo Alto, in the mean streets of Palo Alto. And, after a great childhood, I was able to earn a football scholarship. So that's what actually drove me to the University of Idaho over in Moscow, Idaho. And spent the next 8 years over there.
The Vandals. Such a cool name.
Actually, they got that name back in the 70s. So they used to have a really good basketball team, and they got a nickname called the Vandalizers. So then the university just took that name and ran with it. But the Vandals, when I was recruited up there, Joel Thomas, one of the very famous running backs over there and one of the coaches who actually recruited me to come up, he had a different story about the Vandals. So what the Vandals is they are the only group that was able to defeat and sack Constantinople. So they're this nomadic group where everyone was a little bit misfits.
Is it like the Visigoths? They were from like Scandinavia that they sacked Rome. So these are the Vandals that sacked Constantinople?
Yes. So it's the little misfits. It's the people who didn't quite fit in all of their separate tribes.
Is it Istanbul or Constantinople?
Constantinople.
It's the same.
Is it?
Yeah. You know that song, Istanbul and Constantinople? Come on. I think it's the same place. Yeah.
I need to check out the lyrics on that song.
Yeah, I'm not good at lyrics, by the way.
This tribe just kept on going around from region to region, picking up all of the misfits. Whether there was something wrong with them, they had a missing limb, they had a missing leg,
They maybe ran their 40 time 1/10 of a second too slow. They may have been 1 inch too short to really go for one of the bigger groups, the bigger tribes, or the bigger D1 teams. And when they got together, though, when they put all of their strengths together, that's when they were able to really focus on those strengths and just wreak havoc everywhere they went.
Wow. The Vandals. Well, that was your college days, you know. But I mean, so tell people your journey, because I find some of the best trial lawyers played Division I team sports or Division III, some type of team sport, because I think this is a team profession. How do you feel about that?
100%. You know, one of the things I do is, especially like this year, I had a couple trials, and I was able to bring in outsourced help, which are a couple of buddies I had from the Santa Clara County Bar Association. And one of the things when you want to develop a team, aside from bringing in people who are better than you, smarter than you, and also have the same type of work ethic, is you want to be able to manage. And that's really the hard part, especially in a legal world where everyone is so used to completing everything on their own. Everyone is so used to being the prime all-star in their life, wherever they came from. It really takes a lot to control a locker room and make sure you have a really healthy relationship with all the players in the locker room. Because regardless of what happens, you know, in the house, in the home, you still have to walk out those front doors, and it's you versus everyone else that's out there in the battle that you're in. Wow. So you're able to really, you know, utilize people and, you know, share. I think playing offensive line was also a really big help for me, a really big help.
Were you left tackle?
In high school I was.
Oh.
In college, because I was 1 inch too short and I had my 40s time 1/10 of a second too slow.
That's why they got you the Vandals, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I ended up playing right guard for the Vandals.
Oh, wow.
So, but when you're playing football, it's especially on the offensive line, you have to get used to working. You have to get used to working hard, being able to progress the team without your name being called by the announcers or having your name even listed on the TV. And that's one of the things I was really able to establish playing football in Idaho is, you know, the first 4 years, I played 5 years up there, so I got my bachelor's in 4, ended up getting my master's in accountancy in my 5th one.
In accounting, you say?
In accounting, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my background.
Why accounting?
You know, my mom was an accountant, so I think I just loved numbers growing up, and you know, I was the kid who was hustling Pokemon cards back in 6th grade, and you know, going to all of his neighbors' houses trying to mow their lawns.
I did the same thing, man. My brother and I had a skincare business, or a lawn care business, and we used to. We had my little brother go pass out flyers when we were supposed to be going to church to get business, and we would go cut people's grass.
Nice.
But we had winter, so we had to go shovel snow.
So you had a seasonal work.
Operation, yeah. Breaking leaves. Oh my God, that was the worst. Leaves are the worst.
Leaves?
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
it's terrible.
Like I kind of forgot what I was talking about. Like what was that? What was the last thing?
The booze is already hitting you, I think.
You know, it's the Garrison Brothers, I'm glad you brought out the Garrison Brothers one, because this was actually one of the bottles I purchased during COVID, during lockdown, because the liquor stores that were around me, they were dry out of any types of bourbons and whiskeys. But I remember one of the owners asked me to try one of these. He's like, "You're gonna love it. You're gonna really enjoy it." So my brother and I actually came in that day, and you know, it's like my brother's here, so I got to get the Garrison Brothers one. So
yeah, and I mean they're a Texas brand, but you know, it's with whiskey and bourbon, you have to be somewhere where there's a lot of heat or temperature that is alternating a lot, because that's how you flavor. So that's why Louisville's big. That's why you do a lot in Indiana across the river. It's why you do a lot in Texas and Nashville and around, you know, Tennessee as well. That's why you can't, like, I've had Pittsburgh whiskeys and they're terrible. I mean, I've tried it. People send me ones that are not so good. No, but we were talking about you moving to right tackle and then having a team atmosphere of not having your name called, but still, I mean, you're on every single play.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, now I remember. Finished up my 5th year, got my master's in accountancy over there. But for the first 4 years, the University of Idaho Vandals football team did not do the best. I think we were ranked in the bottom 10 on ESPN's bottom 10 list every single week. The weeks that we were not ranked in the bottom 10 were the one of 3 games we may have won those years. But that's why it was pretty tough. It's pretty tough when your own school newspaper has all the comics and all the articles that are just talking trash about you and your teammates. But at the same time, it motivated a lot of us. So that 5th year, we actually, our football team had the biggest turnaround in D1 sports that year.
You guys played a big bowl game that year, right?
Yes, we did. We ended up winning the 2009 Humanitarian Bowl
Wow.
on the last play when we went for 2 and won by 1 point.
Who did you guys play?
The Bowling Green State Falcons.
I know Bowling Green very well. They always play Pitt because they're close to each other. So, but they always play them close. So this year they blew them out. So that's okay. So I mean, big Bay Area guy, and talk about the team sports and how it equates. I'm glad you mentioned when you brought in other people from the Santa Clara bar to help you when you're in trial. Because if any lawyers out there watching or listening, it's really hard to do things by yourself. And you have to have a team. And if you try to do everything by yourself, that's how, I literally put a hole in my stomach because I was trying cases managing my firm when I was a true solo when I started. You just can't do that. Like you have to develop an arsenal around you and be comfortable of divvying up the work or splitting the fees, right? That's just, you get a better result for everybody if you do it that way. And it's more fun.
Absolutely.
It's more fun.
And and that was one of the cool things about this trial is the two attorneys I brought in, they actually just got married a couple weeks ago. I was in their wedding.
No way.
Yeah, and
what was that like? Were they like fighting during the trial? Were they getting pre-marriage jitters? No?
No, I guess that's kind of the community I pride myself in growing. It's a whole bunch of positive people who are trying to lift each other up as opposed to take each other down. That's one of the things that you find really messes up a locker room is when there's a person who's surrounding themselves with negativity, always trying to throw rocks at other people, and just causes a cancer in the locker room. You can't have that, especially when you're trying to win a game. But the couple, they were great. We were doing work for a really good client, and it was a really good case for us. And we, just like you said, where we want to split the fees to make sure everyone is able to participate. We did not charge that client an extra $1 to have them on board.
Yeah.
We were all ending up splitting the same hourly rate that I was getting paid, and so it ended up having a really positive outcome. And I think it really benefited from having those two attorneys on that case.
Yeah, and if you try to eat the whole pie and take the whole fee and do all of the work, the client would probably got a lesser result, and you would have been fucking batshit crazy. It'd been hard.
I wouldn't have been sleeping well, absolutely. Because whenever you play a game and you don't give it your best, you don't give everything you have, you're always going to wonder, what if? Like, what if I spent that extra time? What if I was able to get those extra resources? So it was actually a really good situation too, because they told me their hourly rate, which they're seasoned attorneys too. They ended up taking a really, really big discount for me, and I ended up taking a really big discount for them. So I was paying them more than I was getting paid for that case.
And then you get it paid forward because that person that you helped, they end up referring you business, and it gives you notoriety, it gives you more EXP points, experience points. I'm a big Dungeons & Dragons guy, so I do EXP points.
Get you leveled up.
Get you leveled up. That's right, man. You got to level up. So I'm gonna do my next pour. So you're gonna have to, to finish that.
We got to cheers it.
Yeah.
Let's cheers before we finish it. Thank you.
We're gonna do the next pour here for you, and
What do we got?
this is Dripping Springs, Texas. Okay.
Okay.
Dripping Springs, Texas. This is, small batch, but this is another local one. This is a little hotter. So this was probably, I think, 47% alcohol. Yeah, 47% alcohol. This one's going to be 114 proof, so this is going to be a lot more. So usually, like, I start my mornings. We're actually filming here pretty early, so this is about 7:30 my time when we started drinking whiskey back on the West Coast. 114 proof. But this one, I chose this one because it's made in Ghost Hill, Texas.
Okay.
And we're both wearing very spooky shirts. I have on my favorite Spirit is Whiskey shirt.
And I have a Haunted Mansion print shirt because it's spooky season.
And Adam's very big into
I love Disney.
He loves Disney.
I love Disney.
We're going to get into that Disney stuff. And so we're going to talk a little more lifestyle things on this one. So with this Ghost Hill pour, this spooky pour, we're filming in October here in Austin. I'm just very interested about hearing your journey from exploding during COVID and creating 10,000 posts over TikTok and different mediums and millions of things, educating people on California employment law, and then you became a ghost. You went back to start practicing law and putting your head down. So we're gonna start talking about that. So let's do this pour. This one's super hot. Wait, let me get mine. Me first. I fill my cup first. Actually, I don't. I hate that saying.
I will say that's not really what you do.
No, I
mean, every time
actually-
I've called you, you've always been super helpful when, just trying to mentor a younger guy in the industry. So I always appreciate that.
That's one of my pet peeves whenever people, we're supposed to be.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers, brother. Oh, this does smell very. Look at the color on this. This is really nice.
Tasty.
That's actually fantastic. Wow. It's the first time I've had this Dripping Springs one, and I like this one a lot.
Yeah. Ghost Hill, Texas, right?
Ghost Hill.
That's dark. You can even see it. We got the
know.
light popping over in there.
And it's hard whenever you get
Still
something
super
that heavy and that dark.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of flavor too. Man, Texas whiskey is very good. I'm less of a fan of Tennessee whiskey these days. I've tried a bunch. I like more Kentucky bourbons, these, and then my ryes out of Vermont.
Like, why do you think so? Is it like the way that they make it?
I think it's the way they make it, just the way that the flavor kicks. But different spirits are different things for different people.
Different
I truly
strokes for
believe
different
different
folks.
strokes for different folks. First, I don't know if we can see, but Adam has on blue toenails, and they're like Clio. I can see the Clio on them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that, but we're gonna get some B-roll of this because it's.
You
I was wondering.
I love ClioCon. Like this.
It's awesome.
What's the motto? This is the best conference in legal tech, the best conference in legal.
In legal.
And it's
next to
also,
Mardi Gras. You're going this year, so you're going to be your first experience.
I'm really excited for
You're
Mardi
really
Gras. I was upset that I missed it last year.
Yeah.
But who's performing this year? We got En Vogue is over there.
Yeah. So okay, we're leaving 2 mystery headliners.
I was wondering about that. Okay.
So this is going to air after Mardi Gras, so I'm going to be able to tell you. So. Friday night, as you know, in the past, we've had Snoop Dogg, we've had Ice Cube, Flo Rida,
Yes.
Nelly, Rev Run, Tone Loc. We've had some bangers. This year, we're doing a band called Scarlet Opera on Friday night, who will be the new Queen. They are like exploding, and I'm telling you, they're amazing. They'll probably end up being the best. Saturday night, we actually have CeeLo Green
Really?
rolling into En Vogue, and then Nick Carter, the Backstreet Boys.
No.
Dude,
okay.
it's going to be like a 3-hour show.
I love Nick Carter. I was actually
Oh.
over at the Backstreet Boys. They had a Cancun takeover earlier this year in April.
What?
Yeah, where they had a 5-day.
I did not know this is where this conversation was going to go.
They had a 5-day event, like a reunion tour, where they performed 3 nights, and then they had, gosh, what was his name? The guy who sings "Savage Love," Jason Derulo.
Oh,
during the
wow.
second night. Yeah, it was a great setup.
Yeah.
So I guess this will be the 3rd time I've seen Nick Carter perform this year.
That's
I'm really excited
wild.
about it. Yeah, I should wear my Backstreet Boys. I should have worn my Backstreet Boys.
Well, now you have an opportunity.
I could bring it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I've known the Carters for years, and Angel, his sister, is a good friend of ours, and she's awesome. And we were talking about when we were picking talent. I was just talking to her about something else, and I was like, what's your brother up to? She's like, well, he's touring, and we looked at the thing, and he was actually in San Diego Sunday night, and this was for Saturday. I was like, oh my God, did the stars just align
That's
for this to work
perfect.
out? Now, but Nick Carter's actually born one day before I am. He's January 28th, 1980, and I'm January 29th, 1980.
Oh shoot.
Yep.
That'll be a fun time. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited. And I've seen the set and what they're going to play. And look, and it's about building culture and community. And that's why I like ClioCon a lot, because they have thousands of lawyers here, and everybody's cool.
Very true. Very
Yes.
true. Everyone's just trying to make friends and just like grow their community, grow their network, and share information.
Yep.
And that's a really cool thing.
And we go to, I've been to the Clio ones, like the intra-staff community, and they're the best, building community and culture within a company. It's easier when you're small, but when you're that large, it's difficult to get people to buy in and, want to, fulfill the mission, but they've done an excellent job at doing that.
Yeah. So that's why I'm excited for Mardi Gras too, because y'all's conference is more centered around effectively putting on a trial, and that's something
Yeah.
I'm really interested in.
Because one of the tracks is we have some of the best trial lawyers in the nation teaching on those. And one thing we wanted to do is give people the opportunity to meet attorney at Adam J. Attorney.
Adam J. the lawyer.
Adam J. the lawyer.
In San Diego. It's going to be my
I
second
just know
time
your
in
name,
San
so I
Diego.
type in your name and I find you. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for you, I will always call you Planet Fun Bob in
Yeah.
my head to start off with, and I'll always say, "Hi Bob, how you doing?" But in my head, I want to say Planet Fun Bob.
So everybody, whenever they see me, they know me as Planet Fun Bob. And I actually started hijacking when they print the name tags, and I put Planet Fun Bob on there.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that little touch does it a long way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why when conversation pieces. If I see you walking around, you got blue toenails with Clio, I'm gonna talk to this dude.
Right. So actually, I got my painted toenails from my big brother too. He's a consultant. He works in mergers and acquisitions, and one of the things he does for fun is he takes care of himself, right? And pampering yourself is the one thing you need to do, especially if you want to live a long lasting
Longevity.
life. Yeah, exactly. So he he came up with an Instagram called Party Toes LA.
What?
And, yeah, so my brother, he's the one who got me into pedicures and painting my toenails. So every time I get a pedicure now, I always try to get a design.
That's really funny.
So for my friend's bachelorette party, I got a Mexico theme design for ClioCon. I asked the guy to draw the Clio logo for me on my toes. So
I did not. Again, every interview has a lot of surprises, and this is a good one.
and we got another surprise for you too if
Yeah,
you're ready
I'm
for
ready,
it.
man.
So, like you said, I went off on my firm round 2 in 2021,
Yep.
and it was pretty public, me leaving my last law firm, because I, created over 1,000, 2,000 videos about California employment law in my old office at my old law firm. Like, one of the things why I created so much content at that time is not, well, it kept me social, because right at that point, TikTok had a huge community around there, and a lot of people were talking to each other within the comments during a time in society when we were so disconnected from everybody. What really drove me to create that many videos, though, was the need. It's not because I needed it, it's not because I wanted to share it, but it's because the people in my comment section kept on asking about it. There's people who kept on getting laid off every single day and not knowing their rights. And during a time where, 51% of America works for small businesses, there's a lot of small businesses that don't necessarily follow California law or the California Labor Code.
A lot just don't know, or they're the small businesses anyway. They're just trying to get by.
Exactly.
Yes,
They're
it's
doing
a
the
little
best
different.
they can. And I'd say all my clients, they always try to do the best they can, which is why I like defending them, the employers, is because they just want to do what's right. Unfortunately, in California, they're also on the other side of the coin. There's some people who don't want to do right, and I got motivated, and I just started creating more and more videos. And when you see like 100 shares on a video, that makes you want to create more.
Yes.
So
That's the metric for me. I like to look and see how many shares, and then when I see a
Yes.
post, how many outside of my network saw and did it, right? Because you can see that percentage. So like, usually, sometimes I'll say like 10, 15% is like non-followers that are engaging. But when we see that dial turned, like I had few posts recently where like 99% were new people that saw it. But that's a good. I like shares and that. Those are the ones. How you know it's real. Yeah.
They are, right? And I think TikTok's their algorithm and also their analytics at that time wasn't very robust. Or the analytics wasn't very robust, but I remember seeing just a lot of shares. And one of the things you don't really see is how many people download your videos and then share it amongst their friends within like WhatsApp groups or within text messages. So when you're walking down the street in San Jose, California, and then people are saying, "Hey, Adam, I sent your video to my uncle," like it really means a lot, and then it really motivates you to keep on going. But once the pandemic opened up a little bit, I went off on my own in 2021. As a law firm I was working with, they gave me a couple choices, and the choice I wanted to do was bet on myself again, right? And I had a really good first year. The community really supported me. The people in San Jose and the San Francisco Bay Area really supported me. So I wanted to give back a little bit. So I created 99 gift boxes for fans and community members, because during the year 2021, I also hosted a couple events in San Jose that had 1,000, 2,000 people turn out. And that doesn't happen unless people are actually believing you and they're taking substantial steps to say, you know what, I don't know if he has it, but I'm going to see what he's got to say. So I was able to share these gift boxes, and I was actually able to get a lot of support from a lot of skincare companies, which is why I thought it was funny you said skincare.
Well, it's my Freudian slip because my wife has a skincare brand, and it's
Does
like,
she?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
the skincare brand?
It's called Kayo, K-A-Y-O.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Kayo,
I'm a
K-Y-O.
skincare guy, man. What can I say?
It's we gotta stay looking young forever, right? So this is the package I gave everyone, and I'd like to give it to
Yeah,
you.
come on. I don't know what's in the box.
What's in the
in the
box?
box?
So first thing, this was Chinese or Korean New Year themed. So it's for the year 2022.
Wow.
But the funny thing about this is, since there was 99 boxes, I had to package all of them, and I had a couple friends help. But we actually didn't send these out until around July 2022. So while we were planning on sending them out in January, it took a little bit longer. But
So Korean New Year is different than Chinese New Year? This is...
Korean, it's the same one. It's the same one.
Same
But
tiger.
as a Korean person, I always celebrate Korean New Year, and then when I'm out and about, I celebrate Chinese New Year with everyone else.
Oh, there we go. So is there a different date for Korean New Year? Just the same one?
Not the same one.
But is it the same animal?
The same animal as well. So the year of the tiger was in 2022. I think the year of the rabbit was last year, and I'm a rabbit, so.
I think I'm a rooster.
A rooster?
I looked this up, and I'm either a monkey or a rooster. I remember saying, oh, that makes sense. Whatever it was, I was like, okay, I can see that.
When you're looking at like the mat at the restaurant you're in?
Yeah, but because, you have to go back. It's not only the
year you were born, but so it's usually, because I was late January,
Yes.
so sometimes it happens, people assume, well, 1980, that's the year of whatever. No, but the Chinese New Year was after my birthday, so I was actually the 1979 one.
Lunar New Year's, I think, in like the end of January, right?
Yes, it was close. It was like the cutoff, so I had to go
Oh,
back
yeah,
and look.
the 29th.
Yes.
Okay. So then that was cool. I was able to. I have a billboard just like you did back in the day, and that's what one of the
Oh, I
pictures
love
that we
it.
have on here. And actually, just to show this off, there's a picture of me standing in front of the billboard, a picture of me and my grandma, and a picture of me at the second Stop Asian Hate rally in San Jose, where we ended up taking the streets.
Wow.
So we had everyone on stage at that point. So it was a really
This is really good, man.
It was
This
a
is
really
very good.
important year for me. It was really like, I still get shivers thinking about it. I'm still getting like goosebumps thinking about all that stuff. But it was a really good year, and the community supported me, and I know I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. So one of the things I also got them was a nice little
Oh,
Juratovac
love
Law Yeti.
These are good colors too, man.
It's sandstone pink. It was the year,
This is nice.
color of the year in 2022, 2021. But one of the things I went viral
What does it say
for-
in the back?
So
Nice.
on the front and the back, I etched a couple things. On the front, it has my logo. On the
Yeah.
back, it says #3drink minimum.
What's 3 drink minimum?
So during COVID, I was an essential worker, so I was fortunate enough to still be able to drive to work every single day. So one of the things I did,
love this.
just to pass time, was I started making content about my lunches. So I had something called the Lunch Break Salad Shake. That series ended up having about 5 million views in there. And another thing I did was #3drink minimum, which is always, a coffee, a water, and like another drink for fun, like a Gatorade. So you have one for energy.
Oh, my 3 drink minimum. My head went a different place.
You're having 3 coffees.
I have a
right?
daily 3 drink minimum, but it has nothing to do with Gatorade or water or electrolytes.
Well, maybe you should add this one in there on
Okay.
top of it, like superset your other drinks.
All right.
And so it was always cool. It was one for fun, one for energy, and then one for hydration.
Okay.
So I was able to send all of these out. I was very fortunate enough to go viral in the skincare world a little bit. So Sunday Riley,
Why?
I think one brand was sending a cease and desist letter to a Korean-owned
Oh, God.
business, a small business.
We had to deal with so many of those with my wife's. They would always send all these stupid, try to shake down letters. And they didn't know that her husband was like, and sometimes I would know the lawyer eventually, and I'd send him a letter, come on, bro, back down, this is so dumb. Like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize. Like, come on, how many shakedown letters are you sending a day?
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the name that they were trying to trademark was something that was just generally used by the public for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
So I remember after seeing that post go viral online by the owner, I ended up analyzing the cease and desist letter on TikTok in bed at 11 p.m. while I had my skincare on.
Wow.
And, it ended up doing all right. I think the cease and desist stopped. But Sunday Riley.
Oh,
was
I
able
know
to-
Sunday Riley.
They
Yeah.
were really helpful. So they ended up
Wow.
donating over 100 products.
This is the sleeping
these
oil. I know
boxes.
this product.
It's a really good product.
Yeah.
I love that sleeping oil. I still use it.
Oh man, I'm very excited about this. So every time, whenever I recently spoke at a conference in Scottsdale, and they give you a gift bag for being one of the keynote guys, and one of them was like a skincare eye patch, like a sleep mask eye patch. My
The ones
wife,
that go under your eyes right here?
they're awesome. My wife stole that shit. I came home, the package was already open.
Absolutely.
I was like, you took a nap and used it? Like, that's not fair. Was whatever.
You're looking forward to it, yeah.
Very much
I have
looking
a
forward
box of skincare at my house, so whenever some friends come over, I open it up, and I'm like, all right, do you guys want anything in here? So there's a lot of clay masks.
I'm a
in
big
there now.
I'm a shaving oil guy, and I like the scent. So and you look at my beard, like, God, how's he shave? But I do, I pick it here and down here, and I have it on right now. It smells so nice. My skin feels good.
I gotta smell it. What
Go
is
ahead,
it? What you got?
Smell that.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Ooh,
That's
okay.
my wife actually formulated this one.
Okay.
Yeah, she spent time in the lab, and she did all the fragrance and design.
See, skincare is just so unreal. There's so many things
Again,
that
I
go
did
into a
not know why
formula.
this conversation was going to go here. This was not in the show notes, bro.
It was, but I'm Korean, so we love skincare. I've had a routine ever since I was in middle school, following my mom. So I have to throw out that Sunday Riley was able to donate full-size bottles for everybody, so that was amazing.
Really?
Another group that helped out was Youth to the People. They have this one face cleanser, which I love. I still use all the time.
This has kale in it. You're putting kale on your face?
I better put it on my face than eat it. I'm not eating that stuff. But
You're like my dad. He thinks that kale ruined his, like he had kale once. He's like, I got so sick. He's like, I've never get sick after eating a steak, but I got sick after eating kale. So he's like,
Kale one time.
That's what he says. Kale one time destroyed me. So I like kale, but that's me.
You know, my mom started growing kale in her backyard, so I've been starting to eat it more, but you know, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, that we were able to hand out 100 of these to a lot of community members, and it's really cool seeing some of these Yetis around San Jose every once in a while too.
And that's what, a lot of people don't realize. If you have good merchandise that people use, that's why I'm very big on having high-end merch for people, because it's evergreen advertising that people carry around, right? So like, we have your bourbon approved flask. Hopefully you'll use that later. You'll fill it up with something like Firewater, maybe. I don't know what you're into. Hypnotic. I don't know what you're putting in there.
I might take some of this in here when I leave.
Actually, this the Dripping Spring one's pretty freaking good. I mean, I love Garrison Brothers. I drink. This is like a day sipper. The Garrison Brothers. This is.
All right, I need to try some of that for sure.
Yeah. We have some other ones offset too. Some other Garrison Brothers. They have a lot of different flavors. You ever been to their store?
Never.
They have. I had one that was like a bohemian one that I had. They have their honey one, which is like play golf and sip.
Got
Fantastic. But all their stuff's a little more like dark and moody and like flavorful.
So yeah, after I think we were talking about my law firm, right? Opening it back up.
2021.
So when things open back up, when you start running your own business again, all of a sudden you have to start wearing all the hats. You have to wear the CEO hat. You have to wear the accountant hat. You have to wear the attorney hat. You have to wear the operations manager hat that's trying to make every single process more efficient. During that time, and you only have 24 hours a day, right? So during that time, I had to make a pretty important decision, because I was getting pulled in a lot of different directions. I was getting pulled in the direction that where almost all these content creators that I was growing up with on TikTok, the people I were watching, like the skincare people, the anime people, they were all quitting their full-time jobs to go into content creation. It was really lucrative at that time, and I would say it was a hard decision to stop.
But when
content.
you say it's lucrative at that time, how are you getting, outside of getting referrals for what you do as a lawyer, which I think is the highest ROI ever, how are you getting paid through social media when you say it's lucrative?
It's lucrative for sponsored posts. I would say that, in addition to the California employment law videos during COVID, I supersetted all those videos with videos about my personal life and my personal hobbies. So that's why I was talking about skincare. That's why I was talking about grilling. That's why I was talking about barbecuing. So there's a lot of brands, if you have a big reach, they want to get to your audience, and they're willing to pay you money to talk about their product or their service. So when you have a decent amount of followers, you're able to get a lot of money for a sponsored post. But if you're really connected to your people, and then you're really honest with your people, then I feel like you can command a lot more, even though you don't have as big of a following, because
You have a dedicated
there's
following.
a lot more trust, right? Because you're not pitching anything that they don't like, or that you don't like, and that you're not trying to sell anything to them. So one of the jokes I make is this it wasn't my first time being famous when I went viral on social media. I used to play professional football, and used to be a Division I football player at the University of Idaho, which is a college town. And I was playing football in Spokane, Washington, when we were selling out games every single week. Wow. So one of the harder decisions I had to make was whether or not I wanted to pursue my professional football career to ultimately make it into the NFL, or if I wanted to continue law school. So I ended up blowing out my shoulder when I was playing in Dallas between my first year and second year law school, and then that's when I knew I wanted to...
Wait, you're playing while you're in law school?
I was playing in the Arena Football League to help subsidize and pay for law school.
Stop.
It wasn't a bad summer job, right?
No. I mean, but like my buddy plays, when I was in high school, the guy that was our running back ended up playing center in the Arena Football League, and he played for a long time. He made a lot of money playing there, but
it's fun.
It's a heavy toll on. It was a heavy toll on his body. But it shows you, like, when he went to college, they actually made him like up his size, because he was very quick and smart. So like he wasn't gonna be a running back. They made him a center, but he played for 10 plus years in the Arena League.
And that's a tough career too. Tough career, because if you think about it, like, one of the things about the Arena Football League that people don't understand is you're putting 16 people in a 50-yard field, which is essentially an ice hockey rink with AstroTurf, which is about a half-inch thick on top of cement, and you're saying, hey, blow these guys up every single play.
And everybody, I mean, the offensive line's playing a lot of other positions. You guys are moving the whole time. It's fast.
I was playing fullback. I was playing tight end. So
No.
I got stats. I got stats too.
I'm going to find your stats. We're going to drop them in these episodes. I'd love to see it. How are your hands? With skincare, I assume like you would be like a soft hands guy?
Yeah, well, that was one of the things. Growing up, I was always big, but I was always athletic.
Yeah.
And so my brother and I grew up playing baseball, soccer, basketball, everything together. So we always threw stuff at each other. So we always had to be good at catching.
Yeah.
So it was pretty fun.
That's what, did you ever hear the story of Bryce Harper when he was the phenom coming up? When he was a little kid, like 2, 3 on, his dad used to just throw sunflower seeds at him.
Really?
Little things, and he would bat them away or do different things or catch them.
Because he went to college at Mater Dei, or high school at Mater Dei, right?
He grew up in Vegas. I just remember I remember reading ESPN the magazine a long time ago and just being fascinated by that story of.
Oh my! Just throwing sunflower seeds at him.
But it's the little things like that. We used to get. I'm probably a little older than you, but McDonald's had this run in their Happy Meals where they have these little squishy balls. One was like a baseball, a little football, a little basketball. We used to collect those things, but me, my dad, and my brothers, we used to try to throw it as hard as we could to hit each other in the nuts. So this was like the thing when we were kids and stuff, and that's how we got good at hands or trying to be agile. And I remember once
teaches you to be aware too.
Oh man, my dad drove for UPS, and he came and it's a hard job. He comes in today in his Browns, and we were waiting for him. And I remember it was a Monday. Because, imagine the weekend, he's tired from dragging us around all these practices. He comes in the door, my brothers are waiting. We just throw these little McDonald's-like things, and it nails them.
How old were you at this time?
I was probably 11, 12.
So these were coming in hot, too.
Coming in hot. And we could throw hard. And he's on the ground. We run, we hide. He's chasing us, and then I think he ended up stubbing his toe chasing my brother, and then he claimed he dropped a package on it at work, so he was off workers' comp for a little bit.
He was playing it cool.
But then he was able to coach our teams a little more.
Nice.
No, but then he laid in wait for us, and that's how I know it was a Monday, because we went up into our room. We were hiding from my dad. We would go into this one in our bathroom. We could put our feet against the door so you couldn't get through, even if you had the skeleton key. So my brother and I were like, we think he's gone. It's been a few hours. We think he's cooled off. So we go into our room because Monday Night Football was, I remember this vividly. I mean, it was probably kickoffs 8:30, 9 because we were in Pittsburgh. So we go into my bedroom, and I remember just sitting there, and we sit down on the couch, and we just hear rustling. I was like, he comes up from behind the couch, and he just is lighting us up. We're screaming and running, and
Hilarious.
he got us good. So.
And then you guys watched Monday Night Football together?
And it was fine. It was fine. It was funny and fine. But he calmed down. He's probably laughing at it at that point. I can imagine my dad was probably 40 at that time. He had us young. Just what's going through his head, just laughing, hiding behind our couch, probably for an hour, waiting for us to come back so he could light us up.
And then you guys got back at him the next week, didn't you?
Well, immediately. The best one. So my brother, I have a twin, and we had these adjoining water beds.
Wait, what?
The 90s, yeah. This is early 90s. And my dad at one point, he said, they were stupid and dangerous for whatever reason. You can't sleep well on water. I don't care who was pitching this, whatever. It's like the My Pillow guy. So my dad had to drain these water beds, but in the water, it's not actually water. There's chemicals in there and shit. So we were on the second floor of our house, and my dad put a hose inside the where you drain the water out of, and we had to put the hose down the window, down out the backyard.
That's smart.
So we're up. My twin brother Brad are upstairs, and I'm looking out the window. My dad's he had to siphon it, right? Because you have to to get it going, to get the water to pour out. So he's like, boys, don't touch that water bed. Oh, and I remember vividly. I'm looking down, and he's down because we have these row houses, so it's we have maybe 15 feet between homes. So I'm trying to angle my head to look to the backyard, and he has this hose, and as soon as he goes, I point at my brother, and Brad jumps on this water bed out of me.
No.
Oh my God.
You guys were laying in wait on him. You planned that.
Oh yeah. So we were in massive trouble for that, but it was well worth it.
Absolutely. So, best summer job ever when I was playing in the Arena Football League. Ended up winning Arena Bowl 23 with the Spokane Shock, which was really cool. Yep. And I ended up starting law school 3 days later after that.
That's wild.
It was pretty nice to have some hardware when you're in the first year of law school.
But you have the best team names I've ever heard. You had Vandals in Idaho. Mm-hmm. You have the Sabres and the Shock.
And the Shock. Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You ever notice the Washington teams to not have an S on their teams, the new ones?
The new
the Kraken. the Seattle Kraken,
The
Shock.
That's
Probably the only two.
I guess no plural S.
You're the Shocks?
Like the Shocks,
Yeah,
no.
it's on plural.
Yeah, like the Seahawks.
Yeah, Seahawks has an S. I call them the Sea Chickens.
The Sea Chickens, me too.
Well, yeah, because they're your division.
Yeah,
So let's talk
we
about it.
hate
You're
those
big. You're a
guys.
big 49ers fan. I see
Yep.
your stuff here.
Oh yeah, you gotta. I brought my bling bling for the Niners too. Because anytime you come to the South is a huge sports area. So if I'm in there on a Saturday, I always wear my Idaho Vandals gear, and if I'm in the South on a Sunday, I always wear my 49ers gear. Because just like when you're in Nashville or even downtown Austin, every team is represented, and everyone has that same culture and that same energy on game day. So it's always a great way to start a conversation with someone and meet someone new. Yesterday, there was actually a 49ers watch party over on 6th Street over at Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. So
That's WTF.
it's WTF, right? Which was what I said after the game ended, because we ended up losing by 1 point because our kicker got hurt in the first quarter and we couldn't kick a field goal to save our lives. But
Moody should not have tried to tackle that guy. I saw him twist his ankle.
he got folded up. Yeah, he should not have tried to do any of that stuff. But anyways, I wanted to bring it over here because I know you're a big football guy too,
Big,
and
yeah.
so we can share our disappointment together today.
Yeah, my team lost yesterday to the Cowboys. As we're filming, we lost yesterday to the Cowboys. Disappointing for everybody. So there's like the city of Pittsburgh goes into deep depression for like 3 or 4 days after they lose. That's what it's like. But talking about wearing jerseys, everybody wears jerseys, but for fashion. Like in Pittsburgh, if you go to the mall, everybody's just wearing jerseys, but not just during the season. They're just wearing jerseys just because it looks cool.
I love it. I love that.
it, yeah.
I love that like energy in that community, right? Just something where everyone is like intermixed and intertwined.
Yeah.
But I think like we were talking about why I stopped creating content is so after playing football, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. I've wanted to be a lawyer ever since I was 4 years old, and that's something that my parents always supported me in. My dad, he was a paralegal and office manager at a small PI firm for 35 years. So I was able to live in that world, live in that lifestyle where, he was able to coach me up and, get me ready for the legal world because, when you're in a small law firm and you're a paralegal, you're the one doing all the work.
Yeah.
So he was really able to help me out with that. And, after football, I knew I wanted to just continue pursuing law to try to be the best trial attorney I could be. So once the pandemic opened back up and everything started, getting busy again, my practice started getting busy too. And I had to make a very important decision on whether I wanted to pursue content creation, whether I wanted to pursue the life of an influencer, or if I wanted to do what I have been wanting to do for my whole life and everything that I've been sacrificing for my whole life, which was to try to be the best trial attorney I could be. So I ended up going to trial. I still dance on the internet, so I still make videos dancing because I think that that's one thing that makes me more of a human being, and it keeps me happy when you're able to learn different dances and then just exert energy that way.
You
But
ever do the Macarena?
I've done that a couple times, but now Chaperone is really in. So the hot to go dance, I think that's the new version of the Macarena.
Wow. All right.
Well, I can teach people that at Mardi Gras.
All right. I would love to see that. You can get on stage and teach people what is it called?
The hot to go dance.
The hot to go.
By Chaperone.
All right. We'll see.
So, I know it's a little bit different from you because, one of the things is I'm in my 10th year, practicing over a decade, and the whole getting popular on social media thing happened relatively early on in my legal career. So I haven't been able to have 10 jury trials yet. I haven't been able to have 50 other trials. So I didn't have the chops that I think I needed that my dad would be proud of in order to be the real trial attorney I could be because anyone could settle cases, but it's that person that you could take a case all the way to the end and then tell the man, you got to put up or shut up or try this case.
Yep.
And then at that point, I feel there's a lot of power there.
There's a lot of power there, and also it helps with everything else that you do because people know you can be the hammer at the end. The fear is there, and make no mistake about it. Insurance carriers, they actually put in your tax ID number to see if you're actually trying cases and the results that you're getting, and they will pay you an absolute premium if they know you're going to take it all the way.
Really?
That fear factor is there. Yes, they 100% do that, and they grade you off the lawyer that you have and see, are you a settlement lawyer or are you one that's going to take it all the way?
And I know that's what you did earlier in your career, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. I think I did it the opposite. I shared a lot about California employment law, trying to educate people, but now the audience I want to educate are going to be young and new attorneys. and attorneys in the field. And I feel like if I want to educate them, I got to live that life.
But that's what you have to now realize is you take those teaching and learning moments and all those people that are reaching out to you to work on their cases or to be part of the team, realize that you just want to try the case at the end. Mm-hmm. So you have to bring in a team to do everything else so you can be the hammer at the end.
And I'm learning about that
Yes.
too. And that's one of the things I'm excited to go to Mardi Gras about. I think Ethan Ostroff is going to be there.
Awesome.
And he's going to be talking a lot about how to scale a business using virtual assistants. Excited to learn from him.
So we've hired a few of his closers, they call them, but like people that do a lot of our intake, and one's in Madrid, I forget the other one is, but they're like after hours on the phone with clients that are calling nonstop to.
So they do a really good job.
Really good job.
And that's one of the things I want to do is, I'm at that point where, I've been able to stabilize myself. I've had some successes over the last few years. I didn't win every case, right? But I've had some successes, and now I want to get to the point where I would make things more efficient. Now I want to get to the point
Systems,
where I could scale
efficiency.
my time.
Yep.
Because I think there's one quote that's, when you fail, you don't fail to your best ability, you fail to your systems. That's a terrible quote, but
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
it's horrible. I mean, I hope we cut this. But at the same time, it's the mindset of, I need to make sure that everything is locked up so if I get hit by a bus one day, everything will still be able to run effectively and still maintain without me.
That's how people have to think. So Adam, as we're wrapping up the show here, I just want you to take the stage here and tell us, where do you want Adam J. attorney? Am I right?
The lawyer. The
lawyer.
lawyer.
I did
don't
that
even
on
know the
purpose.
difference between a lawyer and an attorney anyway.
There's no
They're the
difference.
same thing. In this
So
space.
where do you want to be in the next year or 2 or 5 years? What's your ideal world look like? And I'm talking from law firm to life.
Law firm to life. Well, I'm a 37-year-old male, no kids, never married. I've been practicing law about 11 years. That is my number one priority, and everyone in my personal life knows that. In 1 or 2 years from now, I'm hoping to have my firm scale. So right now we hired our first staff member in February. I'm hoping to have another staff member by the beginning of next year, and hopefully have another attorney within 12 months. With that, I want to make sure I'm the person who's going to trial. I want to make sure that I'm the person that if someone walks into my door, into my office, they know that they're going to get taken care of. And I just want to take on more cases in the San Jose community. That's one of the cool things I've been doing is, I don't advertise a lot of the work I do, but when my family, friends, and my network or people in the San Jose community DM me on Instagram and they say, Adam, I have a trial coming up next week and I've been representing myself. Can you help? I want to be the person who can help and who's going to tell them, do not worry about any of the costs. Just give me the case file and I'll go to work. There's a couple good cases I've had some decent success on that had to do with restraining orders, some domestic violence ones, and some civil harassment ones that we don't need to talk about on a podcast. But it's really rewarding to be able to help someone who's in need at that point in time.
And then how about, what does that translate to you for quality of life? What are you doing outside the courtroom 1 or 2 years from now, 3 years, 4 years?
Hopefully my systems will be strong enough to where I can take some more Friday afternoons off along with Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays to coach high school football again. Yeah. That's one thing I love to do is I love to coach. I love to share what I feel was able to get me a college education, was able to get me a master's education for free with the people around me. So it's funny, my buddies and I, we took over a football program over in Atherton, California called Menlo Atherton, which is a really cool school. It has a really diverse group of a huge disparity of wealth actually with the Atherton community and the community that's outside of Atherton. And I think my last year coaching there, 5 kids on that team had Division I football scholarships coming out of that team. 3 of those kids were the first ones in their family to go to college. So that's a really rewarding thing to see, seeing them, play on Saturdays and then go to college. And actually, 2 of them are now playing on Sundays too. So
wow.
I'm thinking I may not be as good of a coach, but I just had really good players at that time.
Now, you probably still mentor and stay in touch with these folks, right? So that's how you have your coaching tree. And that's the biggest thing for me. That's why I said we have a lot of similarities. Your dad works with you at the firm, so does mine. We see our folks all the time, heavily involved with our brothers and big into coaching. So like you, my biggest thing is to have that, like Bill Parcells coaching tree.
Yes.
But to have the best team of like lawyers the world's ever seen that came out of this and then it goes
Yes.
scales from there. So
Every lawyer I work with, I want them to eventually be their own law firm owner. I want them to eventually have their own business, and I still want them to invite me to their birthday party. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. But thanks for bringing up my dad too, because that's one of the cool things I wasn't able to mention too much about, is even though he was working at a PI firm, and I'm doing employment law, there's still civil litigation in there, and I call this man at least once a day, twice a day sometimes, just to, twist his ear a little bit to see what he thinks about some cases and what he thinks about some pathways moving forward is. And that's, one of the things that I think is really beneficial for me as a solo is I'm able to have an extra voice that's available. Yeah. Because when you're a lawyer, sometimes it gets really lonely, especially when you're solo, but sometimes when you're a big firm, you feel lonely too. So having my parents there is just a blessing.
Yeah, and that's why community's big for us. That's why we did the Just HQ project and some other stuff. Well, Adam, thanks for coming on the show. So you have to pick, at the end of the show, we say, what's your bourbon of proof? So you got to pick what's your favorite between the Garrison Brothers, which I know you've had, but I don't think you've had I think there's a small batch one, and the Dripping Springs.
I think the Dripping Springs is the one.
Yeah, that's really good.
Do you want a little bit more?
Does a one-legged duck swim in circles? I think the answer is yes.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I took a hit.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother. It's so good.
It's really smooth.
Yeah.
No, but it's really sweet too, actually.
Very sweet for it. That's 114 proof. Yeah. That'll put some more hair on your chest. So, Adam, I want to thank you for coming on the show. We've known each other from social media, how we started. We met at ClioCon. We rode the bull together. Now we rode the bourbon together, some breakfast bourbon here in the early mornings in Austin. I want to thank you for coming on the show. If people want to reach you, what's the best way to find you?
Best way to find me is call the office at Juratovaclaw.com. But if they want to talk to me personally, they could reach out to me on Instagram, which is my handle is Adam J. the Lawyer.
You sure it's the lawyer, not the attorney?
Yeah, Adam J. the Lawyer. It was more catchy. I started the Adam J. the Lawyer thing back in 2017. So
not as catchy as Planet Fun Bob. I mean,
not as catchy. Much easier to remember, right?
It is much easier.
But it is funny when I go around town. It's like, oh, you're the lawyer guy. You're like, that's me.
Got it. Well, Adam, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate you coming on this episode of Bourbon of Proof.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Cheers, brother.